Hey, this is Chris from Protect Young Eyes, and we want to try something new here. We haven't done a whole lot in our YouTube channel, and that is about to change. Every week, Isaac from my team does research on what the latest news is. There's a lot of news out there. We want to whittle it down to that which is most important for families with kids. And we present that news in our social stories on Instagram and on Facebook. We also share it about every 3 weeks, what's most important in our download newsletter, which you'll be able to connect to all of those things in the notes down below. But we also want to start showing it in this video that we'll be sharing through different channels just to summarize things, but it also gives you a little bit more information about the things we're seeing, plus a little bit of commentary from me based on my own experience. So friends, here we go. First, I want to report that Pew Research, they surveyed 1,453 U.S. teens ages 13 to 17 and their parents last September and October. Key findings from the survey were that 72% of U.S. teens say they often or sometimes feel peaceful when they don't have their smartphone. Right? We know this. Less anxiety, just connecting with the world and people around them. That's awesome. Fewer than 30% say that helps people their age learn good social skills. And I think that's a really interesting self-reflection. They know that they're better off face-to-face. Half of parents say they've looked through their teen's phone. I hope that's not spying. Spying doesn't teach our kids anything other than how to become digital ninjas. So parents, find a way to check your kid's phone by them knowing, right? Everybody should be fully transparent about that. About 4 in 10 parents and teens report regularly arguing with one another about time spent on their phone, and nearly half of teens say that their parent is the one sometimes distracted by their phone when they're trying to talk to them. So the bottom line here for me is that parents and teens, we definitely see technology differently, right? I have 4 teenagers. No, get it right, 3. I have a 19, 14, and 14-year-old. My other son is 12. So I have 3 teens, and we definitely see technology differently, but we can both benefit from listening more to each other. Next on the list here is the U.S. House of Representatives just approved a bill that would ban TikTok unless it divests itself from its Chinese owner, ByteDance. This is going to be really fascinating to watch. President Biden has said that he would sign this. Former President Trump said that he would not. Of course, there's all this other confusion around it, right? China is obviously going to oppose this. This isn't going to help any relations with them. There's slumping public support for this kind of legislation here in the United States. And then finally, I think what's important to recognize is this could raise First Amendment concerns, where adults could argue that they have a right. Influencers and others could say that they have a right to the platform under our First Amendment. We'll see what happens. It also doesn't have a companion bill in the Senate. It's going to go to the Senate now, where it has an unlikely fate. We'll see. Next, apparently, delay is the way can win you an Oscar. Ludwig Goransson won Best Original Score for Oppenheimer at the 96 Oscars this past Sunday, the movie, right? And in his acceptance speech, he said to his parents, "Thank you for giving me guitars and drums instead of video games." So there we go. Delay is the way can do awesome things for your life. On Monday, Pinterest added a body type tab, first of its kind, that allows 4 different body types to be shown when you're viewing size-specific brands. So trying to bust through certain stereotypes there. I think this is a really cool gesture. Right now, it only works for women, but it's going to be rolled out for men soon. First of its kind. Pinterest does have some parental controls. You'll want to check those out in the notes. You can also go to protectyoungeyes.com, go to apps, and then just tap on Pinterest, and you'll see all the other apps that we've also done our reviews on. Next, I want to report, and we've been talking about deepfakes a lot this year, but on March 11th, a Wired article reported that the number of non-consensual deepfake porn videos online has just exploded. In fact, Google can't keep up with the number of copyright complaints and takedown reports that it is receiving. Another article that I read in The Guardian reported that over 100,000 deepfake images and videos are being added to the internet every single day. Now, parents, unfortunately, we can't prevent this issue until tech companies fix this problem that they created, and governments need to step in with swift action. It's already out of control. We've written a comprehensive deepfake post that gives parents 15 tactics that they can use in their own family to mitigate this risk. So please check that out. It'll be down below, but you can also go to our website and just type deepfake in the search and it'll pop right up for you. Now, even more on the toxic impact that deepfakes are having on young people, 2 Florida middle schoolers arrested in December, now being shared with the public. They have been charged with third-degree felonies for allegedly creating deepfake nudes of their 12 and 13-year-old classmates. A report from Verge cites police reports saying that the 2 boys are accused and could be the first U.S. instance of criminal charges related to AI-generated nude images. Now, although they've been caught, nobody wins in this. I remember growing up, all kids are curious. 13 and 14-year-olds are very curious, and we love that about them. Back in the 80s, when I was that age, my curiosity had limits because you couldn't get to certain things, right? It had limits because we didn't have, Showtime or Cinemax. It had limits because all I could get to was an encyclopedia, right? There are no limits. There's this weaponization of childhood curiosity right now that just breaks my heart. Again, read that post for some things that you can do. Last week, I am happy to report that the Child Device Protection Bill, co-authored by myself and the Law Center from the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, passed the Alabama House Commerce and Small Business Committee and now heads to a full House vote. And we're honored to work with lead sponsor Representative Chris Sells on this important legislation. It's already passed in Utah. It's sitting on Governor Cox's desk. And it also has been introduced in 4 other states where we testify and do whatever we can to be a technical subject matter expert on this really important legislation. And then finally, continuing on, lawmakers in Kentucky here in the United States have proposed SB 212, and this would limit the use of ed tech technology, which violates student privacy, and also would limit screen time for certain ages. And I love this. It's recognizing that young brains don't really need all of this screen time in order to learn. It's actually hurtful and distracting to educational outcomes. I just want to read to you these limits. Under this bill, the maximum would be 30 minutes of screen time for kindergartners and first graders, 1 hour for grades 2 through 4, 90 minutes for grades 5 through 8, and then up going to high school. Again, I love this. This is science. Research supports the distraction and the lower grades and the lower performance of kids who are online more than others. We saw this in December with the Program for International Student Assessment. You can find that in our social feeds. The research is in. Kids learn better when they're not distracted by devices. So, friends, there you go. That is this week's trends and news. Follow us. You can subscribe here and follow us and stay in touch. We'll do our best to keep you in tune with what is necessary to keep your family prepared and protected online. I'm Chris. Take care.